and sit, but you're going to have to move. Okay. Welcome, everyone. Deb and I didn't discuss this, but I guess since I'm the one who knows Doug, I'll introduce him. So, on behalf of the Lower Susquehanna Synod Criminal Justice Ministry, we're glad you're here with us. Our speaker today is Doug Hollis, and if you read your little bio, you know that Doug was incarcerated for 42 years and was sentenced as a juvenile and was able to be released after the change in the laws. And they determined that sentencing a juvenile without option of parole was unconstitutional. So Doug was able to go through the process in order to be released, and so he's going to talk a bit about some of the relationships in his life that have got him to where he is today. So, thank you.
As Pastor Beth said, my name is Doug Hollis, and before I start, I'm extremely humbled to be here speaking. It's by God's grace that I am here. It's not by anything that I've done of my own accord. So, this is about relationships. And first and foremost, my relationship with God is what has me where I am. And I haven't always had a solid relationship with God. And had I had a solid relationship with God, I would have been in prison for 42 years. And thus is my story. So I'll take you back to how all things began for me. I was born and raised in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I was a product of a dysfunctional home, as many people are. Both my mother and father were alcoholics, and I guess when I was about 10 years old, I was placed into foster care. They had deemed us as abandoned children. Me, my sister, and my younger brother, mine. So we were all placed into foster care, and subsequently we were all split up. We were all sent different places, which made things more dysfunctional for us. But anyway, when I graduated 6th grade, I was most likely to succeed. Imagine. Most likely to succeed. I succeeded to a prison cell at 16. But I was in and out of juvenile reformatory and foster care, from one foster home to another. And eventually, the streets became my home. I guess when I was about 13, I ran away from home, never to go back. And I lived in the streets, slept in old cars, hallways, friends' houses. Ate as best I could, you know. And to be honest, most of the way that I sustained myself was robbing and stealing. I mean, how else are you going to do it when you don't have a job, you don't have a home, you don't have anything? And ultimately, that lifestyle led to my incarceration. At 16, a friend of mine came to me and they asked me to go with him to commit a robbery. And, you know, as kids do, I went along, and unfortunately, a woman was killed. Tragically, Mrs. Ide lost her life for some money, which is stupid in retrospect. And as a child of 16, you're not thinking that way. And I will never stop trying to better who I am, in some way compensate for the wrong that I did. I can never bring Mrs. Ide back. So my only choice is to try and improve the quality of life for as many people as I possibly can, for as long as God allows me to live. That's all I can do. my earnest hope is that I can reach to the lives of younger people and try to help them avert the potholes in life that I didn't avert. And I was a gang member as well. I ran the streets with a gang called 12th and Poplar in Philadelphia. And that in and of itself creates another dynamic that a lot of people don't know. When you walk home every day, you get shot at. People are trying to kill you day in, day out. For what? A street corner. A corner that never came to be mine or anyone else's. We just ripped and ran the streets, doing all kind of chaotic things for no reason. There's no end goal in this. No one actually foresaw what was going to happen. Because you can rest assured that I didn't wake up one morning and say, I'm going to go out here, kill someone, and spend 42 years in prison. That wasn't the goal of mine in life. As a child, I dreamed of being a detective. I used to watch the Maddox show, and I loved my Connors back then. But unfortunately, life dealt me a hand that I had to play. Prison was a rough place, but God was my navigator. And although I didn't know at the time it was God navigating me, in retrospect again, who else could it have been? Because man has always failed us. He will always fail us. God is the same today as he was yesterday, the day before, and so on. And I had to learn that while incarcerated, that God was there. It's usually in the midst of our storms in life that we question whether or not God is there. The true test of who we are is not in how well we perform when everything's gone wrong, when everything is real nice and neat, but it's in who you are when you're facing adversity. Because that's when you truly know whether or not you have a relationship with God. Because if you don't, you're going to go down a dark alley and never come back. But if you have a relationship with God, God will bring you back. It's sort of like Peter, when he saw the Lord walking on the water. And he said, who is it? He said, it is I. Come to me. And Peter got up and he began to walk to the Lord. But then the winds came and he began to doubt. He began to sink. And that's how we are in the midst of storms. If we don't have strong faith, we will sink. And they say the sower planted seeds. And there's all kinds of seeds. Some found fertile ground, some found shade, some, they just did all kinds of things. And that's how we are in life. Every one of us is different. Each of us took a different path to get to where we are in life. And sometimes those paths that we take are the paths that build us, are the things that make us. I read a thing, in fact, it was yesterday, it was on the projector where I work at. It said, because you have a small crack, doesn't mean you're broken. It means that you were tested and didn't fall apart. And sometimes in life, we look at our flaws, the little things that other people see as your big wrong or your big curse. But you're not cursed, you're not damaged. You just have to reach back to God. You just have to hold on to what God gives you. And he gives all of us that rope. Whether we choose to hold it or release it is a personal choice. But God extends hope and help and a hand to every single person. My wife, who is sitting here in the front row, I met her when I was 23 years old. She was a nurse in Camp Hill, and I was an inmate woman. And by the grace of God, we formed a relationship. It began as a friendship and became more, but God blessed me, even in those circumstances, because I didn't have anyone. I seen my mother one time. 17 to I think I was maybe 35 or 36. She came to Huntington and she saw me. Unfortunately, she didn't live to see me on this side. My father, he used to come see me. When my father had cancer, he was diagnosed with a tumor of the esophagus in 1984. And he subsequently died in August of '84 after his surgery. So neither of my parents lived long enough to see me become who I am. I don't blame anyone for the challenges that I faced in life. Because without those challenges, I wouldn't be the man that I am. I wouldn't have become who I am. Because early on in my incarceration, I was a piece of crap. I'd be the first person to tell you. The way I lived, the life that I led, was that of destruction. That of total evil, if you want to call it that. You know, people say the spawn of Satan. I may have been that, because that's the way I lived. But God blessed me. God saw something in me that I didn't recognize myself. So now my motto is, go where God wants you to go, be who God wants you to be, and do what God wants you to do. So, you know, I'm trying in this life of mine to surrender to God's calling. Not to Doug's calling, but to God's calling. And sometimes that gets a little conflated. You know, yeah, I don't want to do this. But God has a way of letting you know this is what you should be doing. This is why you're here. Not to do this or do that or do this, but to do this. This is your calling. This is what God wants you to do. So I stopped fighting and start surrendering. And it's still difficult because as much as I like to talk, I mean, I love to talk. I try to seek out places to go and to talk. But the reality of it is, if I did everything I wanted to do in the sense of talking, I wouldn't be able to pay my bills. You know, my wife would be stuck paying everything alone. You know, that's not nice either. You know, she's living off of her retirement. For me to be sitting at home just welching off of her is wrong. So I get up every day and I go to work and I do what it is that I have to do. But when opportunities present themselves to go and speak to people, I try to get there. I can't always do it because, again, I have a job at home, so I can't always, you know, get out to do these type things. But one of the things that sort of kept me grounded through all of this is when things go bad, I always go to Psalm 121. Are we familiar with Psalm 121? I look to the hills from whence comes my help. My help comes from the Lord. And that sort of gives me that sense, you know what, you can do this. And then I always go to Psalm 146, because that brings things back to why you must trust in the Lord. Put not your trust in princes, nor in the Son of Man, in whom there is no help. Verse 3 of Psalm 146. So, to close it all out, I go to Philippians chapter 4, verses 6 and 7. Be anxious for nothing, but in all things, through prayer, supplication, and thanksgiving, let your petitions be made known unto God, and the truth that surpasses all understanding will fill your heart with thanksgiving. And those are sort of like the three verses, or three sections that keep me molded into who I am. Because life is going to throw challenges at me every single day. You know, first off, I'm black. Second off, I've been incarcerated. Not only was I incarcerated, but I was incarcerated for 42 years. Once in my life, I went in prison at 16. I came out at 58. Most people are considering retirement at 58. They're thinking about where am I going to go? What can I do with my life after I retire? I come out of prison, I'm thinking about how am I going to even have a life to retire? I have to work every single day to try and build something so that when I'm 75, 80 years old, I can, take my shoes off and rest my weary feet and say, maybe I did accomplish something. Maybe it was worth it all. But in the end, only God knows. That doesn't mean I'm going to stop. I'm going to, say, what? This is too difficult. Nothing's too difficult for God. If it was, I wouldn't be here. Because it is by the grace of God that I'm standing here talking to you about my life, about the things that molded me. And the greatest molder of all is God. He's the potter, we're the clay. He molded me into who I am. He blessed me to be able to talk, to be able to articulate myself in a way that people won't see the 16-year-old kid, but they'll see a man that is learning, a man that is growing, a man that understands what God is doing and the work that God has called him to do. Now, there's a story that sort of helped me through this as well. It's called Adversity. This is the story of a young girl who always complained about life. It seemed there's one problem to solve, another one arose. And I used to use this in prison when I taught classes. I would ask the men, I would first give them the analogy. The girl always complained. Her father was a chef. He took her in the kitchen and he put 3 pots of water on the stove. He turned up the flame. In the one pot, he put carrots. In the second pot, he put eggs. And in the third pot, he put coffee beans. Then he let them simmer to a boil. He ate out the carrots, ate out the eggs, and poured a cup of coffee. And he asked his daughter, "What do you see?" Plain carrots, eggs, and coffee. That's what I see, And while that's true, the moral of the story wasn't the 3 items that were there. It was the adversity that the 3 items faced. Each of them faced the same adversity. As I said earlier, we all face adversities in life. But these 3 faced the same adversity, yet each responded differently. Think about it. The carrot went in the water hard, underneath. Came out soft. As many people do. The egg, while it had a hard exterior, it was very malleable. It was very compassionate in many ways when you look at the malleableness of it. Yet it became hard. The coffee bean, instead, changed the color and the flavor of the water. And I asked, which of these items would you want to be? Most people, they don't really understand what it's about. But it's about being like that coffee. Not allowing your environment to change who you are, but to influence the environment that you're in. To make a difference in lives of people that matter. Everyone in this room has an influence. How do we use that influence? Positively or negatively? Do we make the choice to say, you know what? I'm going to go out there today and I'm going to do all that I can to help as many people as I can? Or do we make the conscious choice of saying, I'm going to go out there and be the breaker of all good? The guy that just destroys everything that's in his path. It's a choice. I made a decision that I wanted to impact people's lives in a positive way, in a way that could help people. That's what relationships is about. Every relationship, we grow up with a thing called win-lose mentalities. And a win-lose mentality is always about winning. You always have to have the upper edge on a perfect relationship. When you go into whatever the endeavor is, as long as you come out with a slight edge, it don't have to be much, just a slight edge, you're happy. But the basis and the foundation of any relationship should be win-win. I win, you win. Not I win, you lose. But you win, I lose. We even lose. We see lose all the time. Murder, suicide. That's lose. No one's winning in those things. It's all about forming and building win-win relationships. With God, I win. Now, what's the win for God? I'm still trying to figure that one out. You know? But
All the lives that we touch.
thank you. But you know, God is an awesome person, an awesome being. I shouldn't say person because we don't see him. And that's the essence of faith, believing what you don't see. But God